All right, we're live. You're not Pop?
Yeah. Everyone in Facebook did too.
We're good.
All right. Okay, we're going to bring this meeting to order. I'm going to have the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance. How about Commissioner Kemp doing the invocation?
Dear Father, thank you so very much for this beautiful day we had. I ask you to, tonight to please be with us. Please help us make the right decisions for the benefit of our county. God bless our first responders and military abroad. And thank you for everything you've done for us. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, Rich. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, have a second? I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Citizens to be heard, Jess? None. Awards and presentations? None. Goodness, we're going to move on into consent. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. No consent items full for discussion. We're going to move right on into general business.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This agenda item requests board approval of a resolution adopting an amended fee schedule for the use of county parks, facilities, and recreation facilities, adding fees for the Wakulla Sands Golf Club. This is a combination of basically accommodates all of our fees that we currently are proposing for charging at the golf course. Lays out our weekday daily fees, both local and regular rack rate, junior play, as well as the player development card program fee. Lays all of that out so that we can have it codified in the existing. We have in the future, we'll be making tweaks to this program as with any business call that we make. We ran our marketing and our market study, et cetera, and our rates are middle of the road. We feel like we're in a good shape. We base this on about 30,000 rounds. We didn't want to pencil whip by increasing the rounds to get lower fees. You don't do that in this business. But anyway, it lays all of that out. I can walk through that if you'd like me to. If not, I think we've already exhaustively went through the majority of that. So,
Motion for discussion, of course. I would like to get Shane up here.
Hold on. That's okay, sweetie. Is that a motion to move it, and you need a second to get Shane up here?
Second.
Shane, if you don't mind, just come up here, because I sure learned a lot about going out with you the other day, how we got there, and
Shane, I learned a lot about going out with you too.
just basically go through with this. I know you ran several golf courses. I know we talked in depth about that, how we got to where we're at today, please.
Well, basically, it takes a number to run the place, and I come up with a number based on past experience of around $1.6 million. That's to do food and beverage, pro shop, maintenance on the course, the whole thing. Like David said, we've taken that 30,000 rounds and plugged it into that number to work backwards, and these are basically the fees we feel like we can hit that number with, at the end of the year. I know we're in a unique situation that we're really not trying to turn a profit, but we need to turn a profit because I don't want to have to come back to you guys and ask for money later. I'm hoping that this is going to be a self-sustained operation, an enterprise fund, and that we can support ourselves out there without any county extra funding. And honestly, I hope that we can do enough that maybe we can even give some back to the other Parks and Recs facilities out of what we can accomplish out there at the golf course.
and Shane brings up a good point, is this was originally set up as a profit center. Therefore, we have to, about every 5 years, you have to buy certain equipment, greens, mowers, et cetera, you'll expire. We're planning to set this up. Our idea is so it can fund itself, and as with other programs that we have in the county, we don't substitute T-ball, we don't substitute soccer, users pay for that. Boat fees, the users pay for that fully. So if you don't play golf, you shouldn't have to fund this whatsoever. So that's the way it's set up, and that's our mentality. We'll run it as a business, just like a business, and that's the way we went into this and built it. And as Shane has experience, as well as David Beck and myself, I've built and operated this is number 7. So golf is real easy. It's a math equation. It really is. It's just that simple.
And just to put something out on record, I know a lot of people are trying to compare us to Heileman and Tallahassee, and it's really not a fair comparison. I was actually at Heileman for 5 years before coming down here, and while there is a budget, their budget is pulled in from for example, their fleet department purchases all their equipment. Stroke a check for 100 golf carts.
City
Fleet department. It's not, it's not apples to apples, and I'm doing our best, and I feel like the fees we presented will allow us to do it on our own and not have to come back and ask for money to do any of that kind of stuff, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And we think 5 years is a life cycle for mowers. What about golf court?
Golf carts, I don't know what the life cycle of those are. It's normally about 5 years.
I did a little research on that. I called around to a lot of it after meeting with Shane and David, called around to some of these places. It's 3 to 5 years on a golf cart. And 3 years being maintenance in reference to batteries. And those batteries are not cheap. So it's a real endeavor that you're going into, because I was working hard because I had so many people calling me in reference to the golf carts. But it is 3 to 5 years, and it is a heavy lift in those 3 to 5 years.
And especially for a municipal that's going to try to push 30,000 rounds. Glenarvan up at Thomasville might get a few more rounds out of their carts, or a few more years out of their carts. They're doing 15,000 rounds a year. But when you're pushing 30,000 rounds of a different person in it every day, it makes a difference in a wear and tear on the cart, and honestly, our next go around, this was a first shot go around, and I understand they later worked with the next go around. I'd really consider or try to push that we lease the carts. I think it's a better financial move, because you're only going to keep them for 3 years, and then you roll them out after the 3 years, because like he said, when you start replacing batteries, it gets expensive quick.
Very expensive. Yep.
Yep, and our greens mowers, you normally try to you push your greens mowers out in that 35-year span as well. We always did.
I don't play golf, but,
I understand.
Been around some golf tournaments, don't intend on playing, but, I'm impressed by what you've done on there. I've talked to probably at least 40 people that play golf, a lot of the board that, I've only had a couple arguments was about the cart fee, but everybody is on board, for the most part, other than a few people I have talked to, that they feel like this is a fair price. I told David today in our meeting, which is built in here, for, obviously for our veterans and senior citizen discount. That is something that I would like for us discussed, and I know David had it in here. I just couldn't find it a few minutes ago.
It's baked into the local rate. The veterans are. The senior discount will come later after we get our program up and going.
And also, can you explain what local is? Local is not just Wakulla County. We connected to other counties.
Right.
Every county that's touching Wakulla County is considered local. So Jefferson, Franklin, Leon, and Gadsden.
Yeah, the definition of local is, in addition to that, is active and honorable discharge military members. And then the Wildwood are the park tenants and guests, and that's under the agreement. That's for a limited period of time when you purchase the golf course.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
No, ma'am.
Chuck, you excited?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm concerned, I just want to make sure that we're aware that we need to have those rounds. If we don't have those rounds, we're going to have to take actions to increase the rounds and, you know,
Rounds are the cost, one of the two.
and you're not gonna, if you go up, you're not gonna, you have even less play. So it's,
Yeah, what does this, go ahead, what does it break down to per round to? It was, I know there was a breakdown of it
Here.
here a few minutes ago. Yeah, okay.
so, you know, and so I wanna make sure that they're thinking about something to encourage play. And so a multiple round pass or something to that effect, to increase play if we're not getting the play we need.
In other words, you want this to continue to be looked at and make sure that it works based on the rates.
Well, I think that's
Well,
what,
St. James came in too high,
yeah,
and they just,
they're the highest in town, just about.
Right now,
No legal, but I mean,
at 30,000 rounds to cover our maintenance budget, which our maintenance budget is 978,000 going into next year, which is about average now for 18-hole golf courses. In the 90s and early 2000s, we were between 600 to right at $1 million on ours, and that was back then. And fertilizer now, your fertilizer and chemical budget's bumping over 200,000. Triple. But that's $32.61 a round at 30,000 rounds, just to cover the maintenance.
I'm just concerned about,
We'll watch it.
making sure we get enough rounds in there.
I think the first year we always you always think about the second year when everything levels out.
First 6
Yeah,
months, you're
that's
not
right.
gonna have any trouble at all.
That's right.
Are we done with Shane, so I can call up the next speaker?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Sorry, Shane, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Dickman?
Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
And thanks for all your guys too, the hard work.
Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm William Dickman. I own ABC Stores, 3743 Crawford Highway. My address is over here, number 9, Covington Circle. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone here on the board and the individuals over there, Mr. Bass, and all his staff that put together this project. It took some courage to step forward, purchase a golf course, and then sell this idea to all the people in the county. I do see this as being an asset and an investment in the county, much as I saw what I built 21 years ago down there to 2 acres as an investment in the county. So thank you so much for all your hard work. It's only on occasion that a golf course has the ability to have dual functions. This golf course, of course, will be recreational as well as a part of the water reclamation project, and that's a really nice thing to have. Most of what I wanted to say has been gutted by Mr. Bass and your ability to answer the questions that the board had. But I did want to reemphasize what Mr. Hess said about the number of rounds. And I want to emphasize, I'm 65 years old. I played 211 rounds of golf last year. Okay, I played 109 this year. Okay, I play 3-4 times a week. The bulk of the general revenue for almost any golf course in Florida will be the people who can play 2, 3, 4 times a week. And Mr. Beck over there will verify that, he'll agree. So the bulk of the general revenue will come from people who can play Monday through Friday. And I hope that the serious consideration will be taken in on having some part of a senior discount, either with a play card or with the player development card, so that the individuals who want to play and who can play Monday through Friday and carry the load for whatever the budget is, 1.2 million, 1.6 million, whatever, will have an opportunity to invest in the county and invest in this project, okay? From what I've seen, it's going to be a magnificent course. There's a lot of excitement, okay? It's 2 miles from my office. I'd call Henry Jones in about 3 minutes, and we can go ahead and tee it up, and if we play in 3.5 hours, it'd be a great day. But yes, thank you so much for everything that's being done, and I hope this has magnificent success, because this is something that can be a real star
in our community. And I know not everyone shares in the love of golf, but like I said, this has a dual function, and so we hope it's very successful. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to me.
Thank you, sir.
Bill, I hope you got all that. That's about as good as anybody can say. Thank you.
Mr. Tommy or Mr. Jaworski, y'all want to fill out speaker cards or no? Yes. Okay. I'll get it from Jess. For those people that didn't read all the way through the agenda item and all the attachments, I was curious if you could take 2 seconds to explain what's included in the family player development card. Is that everybody living in my house? Is that relatives?
People related by blood and marriage who are living as a family unit, and it can include the parents, and then children up to the age of 18 is what it currently says.
Thank you.
They have to be in the same address, home address.
I mean, I believe.
Yes, yes, they do.
I believe so. If not,
They
we
can't
got
come home anymore and play golf.
All right, it's,
Howard, if you want to speak, you need to fill a card.
persons related by blood or marriage and are presently residing together as a family unit, including any children 18 years or younger.
Mr. Tommy?
Thank you all for letting me speak. I don't normally get involved in a lot of the county business, but I wanted to get involved in this. We've had a wonderful course here for quite a long time, going back to Wildwood. And it accommodated quite a few people. It helped our golf team, the high school, and I'm very glad that the county has put a lot of time and work into it to arrive at the cost. I hope it's the cost, which I was hoping I've heard rumors, I don't know what the rumors are, and don't know the cost, but I hope it's reasonable for the residents of the county to make it feasible for everyone. Not just myself, but anyone that can play, be able to afford to play. The course, I started to go out and look at it. I haven't. It's not that far from my house. I can get there fairly quick, be very convenient. I'm one of those players like Bill was talking about. I played 3 or 4 times. Don't do it now. I'm hurt. But I normally was doing that. I play with Chuck with a group up at Highland and play with the Big Bend seniors that travel. He plays with them also. And these courses, we see all kind of courses. We play at all kind of courses. And I heard y'all talking about you were going in the middle of the road. But any business that you start up, it's hard setting a price and knowing where you want to be, what you want to be. And I feel like the county needs to subsidize the golf course for a while until they can get their feet on the ground. Know where they're going, know what they're doing, knowing the cost. And don't make it so costly that the average person cannot participate. And it accommodates the ecosystem that a lot of you commissioners were all for. I was for it. The sewage, and it really helped that program to get where it need to get. Without it, I don't know where it got there. So that really needs to be taken into consideration. And I think it's an excellent idea, like Chuck was talking about. Look at it now. If you have to raise the cost a little bit going forward, that's something needs to be looked at. But you got to know what you're playing with before you play it. All new startups of businesses, I was in business roughly 35, 38 years. Most businesses that start up, I don't have to tell anyone, you lose money to begin with. And if you make money or break even the first year, you're a magician. You're a magician. And I just want to say thank you for y'all's time and effort, and I hope we come out with some very good, enticing prices.
Do you know what the daily round fees are?
Pardon?
Do you know what the daily round fees are?
No, I don't know nothing.
Okay, they're on the screen. They're not on the screen right now. Oh, so yeah, they are.
I don't have my glasses.
That's okay.
Do y'all have anything?
Yes, sir, we do, and I'll give it to you.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
I would love for you to do that, Commissioner Thomas, and then I'm gonna call Mr. Ballard up here.
So the folks at home will know it's.
Exactly, I think that was a lot of the confusion.
So what's being proposed, the daily round fees, weekday daily is $62 per round. Weekend daily is $72. Weekday for locals is $44. Weekend for locals is $61. Junior player is $15.45 per round. So that's if you play in daily. If you do the player development card, it's $1,250 per year for an individual, $2,060 for a family, $600 for juniors, and $250 for golf team players, and that gives them unlimited rounds, correct, if they do the development card.
And each one of the daily and local fees, that's inclusive of the golf cart fee, and that's the green and the golf cart fee. And the individual player development card is $1,250 plus $25 a round for the golf cart. And same thing for the family player development cards, same thing. Just to clarify.
Okay?
Someone has a membership, it's gonna cost them $25.
Right. Okay.
Does that help, Mr. Tony?
I think that's fairly expensive.
Okay, let me hear from Mr. Ballard.
Hey, I'm Howard Sapp. Most people know me here, but I was involved in Wildwood Country Club when it first opened up as one of the board of directors and one of the owners. I helped get golf into the school system here. I helped that get started. Also ran a successful junior program for 18 years down here. Before we ever had a golf course, we had a good junior program that ran 40 to 50 kids per season. So I've been involved in golf for 34 years down here in the county. I'm also a Class A club maker and repairman, so I've been around the business. The only thing that kind of concerns me is the rate's a little high. You know, I feel that's my own personal rate, and things I've heard from different courses playing in Tallahassee. I do volunteer at Heileman, so I do hear a lot of talk there, but I also play a lot of other golf courses, so I'm hearing, just talk. There's a lot of information that nobody's been shared, so it's all just talk around. The biggest thing I see as concerning to me is I think the prices are a little over, and I'm not saying that they're high for a year or so down the road. I think they're high as a startup. The problem I see right now is we don't have the county to support. We don't have the people in this county to support the golf course. I mean, y'all know that. We're going to have to pull from other counties. It's going to take a while to build that criteria to get the clientele back to where it was or to where it will be. And that's a personal feeling. Y'all may have better information than I have, but I keep getting referrals to, St. James and Southwood and these other courses. They're privately owned. This is county-owned golf course. This is for the community. So it kind of, that's where I'm basing the information that I have off of, and from just talk generally around. My only concern is the $25 cart fee if as a member. I think that's a little high. That's personal again. I think that's a little high. But, that's what we're here to discuss about. Most of the golf courses have an inclusive membership that has cars included. I know we're not doing it here. But if for somebody, I'm like some of the others here that I play at least twice a week, that adds up pretty quickly I'm retired now, so, I have to look at that side of the house too. So, anyway, that's my side of the story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Anybody else want to come up and talk about the golf course?
Billy, you want to talk? Come on.
Billy always wants to
Come on.
talk. Billy is part of the golf team as well as Bauer is the golf committee, not committee.
Not
golf
committee.
Working group.
Not committee.
Yeah, and we've reviewed all this with them as well, so.
So, just really excited, been on the course, admire the work that they've done. It's a first-class operation. I give it a 10 out of 10. Like Mr. Broward, my hat goes off to him. He has done so much for this community in golf. My son come up, he took care of my boy as he was coming through the junior ranks, and we traveled all over Alabama and Georgia and a lot of other places. And I was telling people I've spoke with that some really nice golf courses. None of them look any better than what we have. It's just an amazing, beautiful golf course. I know there's some discussion about pricing and all, and I understand all that. I don't really have a personal opinion on that other than, I get all of that. But I can tell you this: I feel like we do have something to be very proud of, and I think it's going to do well. And I'm just as happy as Chuck, I think, about it. Just look happier. But I think just take a quick opportunity to thank everybody that was involved. I had it easy. We had a pretty good little group of gentlemen that kind of went along with the county administrator and Shane as it was developed. And I rarely have been part of anything that went so smooth and has ended so nicely. And my hat just goes off to everybody involved. And I just feel privileged to be able to play on such a nice golf course. Looking very forward to it.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Tommy. I've talked to Mr. Mr. Brower Sapp a couple times, and Billy, and probably over 40, 50 people that play golf. Don't play myself, but learned a lot about pricing and stuff like that, and compared to other counties. And from what I understand, this is probably one of the nicest golf courses within 100 miles, is what I'm being told by people who play golf. I know I was very impressed with Shane, going out there and looking at everything. So I'm very pleased to see where we go with this. I did have a couple people out of all the people talked felt like the cart fee was a little, but everybody felt like it would work out and was, with it. So I want to appreciate all the advice I've gotten too.
Okay, anybody else want to have any more discussion, sir? Yes?
I mean, obviously, we need to gauge that, and David and I have talked about that, and I know he's going to watch it close, but, hopefully we'll maybe get a monthly report so we can kind of keep an eye on it as well, because I'm not a golfer either. And so, all I can do is take input from everybody, and let's measure it. We've said from the beginning that I don't really want this to be a cash cow, but I don't want it to be subsidized either. I want it to stand on its own 2 feet eventually. I think a lot of people still don't realize that most of the money that went into this was not local tax dollars. It was state and federal money. And so that kind of gives us a good start. I mean, it's still taxpayers' dollars, but it didn't come from local generated taxes. And so that gives us a good head start on that. And I think that we can make this thing work, but we're going to have to measure it. I can't imagine anybody hitting all the numbers just right on day one, but I think we see the way the tournament sold out that there's tremendous demand for it. And so I think that, hopefully we'll see the same thing with the normal monthly registrations, and, that we'll adjust accordingly if we need to.
And we set our cart rates based on what other folks in Tallahassee golf courses that we set that based upon that. That's a general theme. So.
And when you say golf courses, you mean municipal golf courses?
Yeah, municipal is hard, like Shane said.
Holloman's one.
Comparing Holloman, we can't compare to that.
I was just making reference to that.
They got their own little shuffleboard game they played there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just not apples to apples at all.
we got it.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
David, can you also speak to the part that the sewer fund is going to pay its share for that part of the golf course?
Yes, the sewer fund is giving about a $200,000 mulligan to this. So they'll buy the fertilizer, basically. So yeah, it's buying the fertilizer for the golf course.
The water we're putting on it doesn't have enough nitrogen in
They
it.
don't have enough nitrogen in it, we have to add nitrogen to it to make that grass grow.
Well, I'd just like to say, Shane and David, that y'all done a great job out there. And I've talked to a lot of the golfers as well. I'm not a golfer, but I've talked to a lot of them as well. And after speaking with them, yes, we did have some discussion on the golf carts, but that seems to be the only discussion that we've had any negative feedback on after I've sat down and give them all the local fees. And I bet I've talked to at least 20 to 25 of the golfers in the community that do it every day. So, I think, just like Commissioner Thomas said, as long as we monitor it and see where it goes and keep a close eye on it, I feel good about it.
And I certainly hope that the local golfers will support our golf course versus giving Tallahassee sales tax money. And paying for Tallahassee stuff.
That's a good point.
It really is, because people don't realize the buckets.
On the golf fee?
Taxes are collected, yeah. So if you're gonna give Tallahassee your tax money, you go ahead.
So that's
So
sales
you give it to yourself, right? Yeah,
fire trucks
That's
and
right, exactly.
vehicles and
Exactly.
roads and here.
Exactly.
And fuel costs.
And fuel. That's right. That's right.
I'm sorry?
All right.
I've got a question.
Come up here, Mr. Tommy, so people at home can hear you.
You said this mulligan that is given to the golf course, 200,000. What would it have cost the county if they'd had to lease and buy or some other means or found the area to dispose of the waste that's produced from that? Or could they even get it?
Well, that was part of the grant funding that we got. That was one of the reasons we were able to get the funding for the golf course, to buy the golf course, as well as to, we bought the golf course actually out of some funding that we had within the county. That was county funds, but the actual construction came from, the majority of the construction came from the state as part of that program for the sewer. And so it was purchased and built with that. So that's over right at $9 million worth of funding that went in for the sewer system, built the golf course.
But without that golf course, you couldn't have got that money from the state, could you have?
But we could have got it from someone for another project, yeah, but we've talked them into, we'd have put it somewhere else, yes. But we talked them into building a golf course, and they don't do that, but we talked them into that.
Because that grant money is to dispose of that treated
That's right,
water.
exactly. So the operating fund of the sewer plant sends another $200,000 to the golf course every year to subsidize, to say, here, you got to put our water out for us, and that's what that does.
As things costs go up, will that go up
Yeah. Yes, sir.
accordingly?
Accordingly, and as we get studies done, we have to do that based upon studies on what it costs, and that'll all go with that. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do you give that report once a year to the county or to?
That's in the, we do that calculation as a part of our budget process, yeah. And we'll also, we'll have our engineers take a look at it periodically, and we'll look at it again probably next year sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Sure.
Don't misunderstand what I said a while ago as the beauty of the golf course and the playability of the golf course. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a really nice golf course. It's going to be one of the top notch. My concern was, and where I was taking my deal is in running the operations of that golf course in the past and seeing how we had to have cars in the parking lot during the weekdays. And if you don't keep that weekday play going and building that clientele to keep that there, and your membership funds, your memberships, if you play your money right, that helps you on your bad weekends when you, as you're talking your rates, we get storms, we get weather comes in, it takes play away from you. You have no funds coming in then. That membership rate can help you through that. And that's where you get your support. The people from, the surrounding areas, Tallahassee, Georgia, wherever they're coming from, they're not going to give a flip if you have bad weather down there. They're going to stay where they're at. And people are going to come play the golf course 2 or 3 or 4 times. They may or may not come back. They may stay at their golf, but they're going to come. They're going to come right now to see the golf course and play the golf course. It's new. I mean, that's just the way golfers are. We're going to go play something to see how it is. But to keep them here, that's the issue that you got to work at. And I'm all for it. I want it to succeed, and looking forward to having a great time out there. But that's where I was basing what I was saying off of, is keeping cars in the parking lot during the week.
I think there was also a lot of confusion when people would call us and we'd say, we haven't voted on that yet, but we will on Monday, which now turned into Wednesday. All right, and yes, sir, keep going.
So, does this give you and the golf course manager the flexibility to discount? Let's say parking lot is empty, it's been empty all week, and we want to put a push out there to our clientele and say, hey, we got a discount, we're going to offer a special. Does this give you the ability to pull that trigger?
We do have language in here that gives us the ability to do some of that, yes, especially based on course conditions. Say, for instance, we've got a lot of rain and we a couple of holes may be flooded, which I don't think will happen anymore because hopefully we took care of all of that in our reconstruction. But I'm sure that there's a couple of holes, 2 holes down next to the swamp that I think is going to flood no matter what we do, a piece of them. So we do have some of that ability. Yeah, yes, it's not a big discount, but it's some, yes. And we'll look at it and watch what's going on. And like I say, I think we're competitive on our regular our player development card program. That seems to be what's done elsewhere in other clubs, and it seems to be competitive there as well. So, and like I say, I wish it was like it was in the 1990s and 2000s when you could run a golf club on a $800,000, $700,000 budget, but that was back then. You just hard to do that now. It's $1 million is a cheap grounds maintenance budget. Yeah. And we're running at 970 something. So, and I've cut Shane. We in the private sector, we always had about 16 staff on our courses that worked it as far as the grounds maintenance. Shane is what? 8. He's what?
8.
8 and 3 part-time. So that's shy, especially a quality course. If you want to, the better course, you got to have people to work it. And now with also, with our $15 an hour rate minimum, now across the state, that has raised everybody's cost of doing business up, as well as this is a government, so therefore we have to pay FRS. So it's almost every employee we employ that's $15 an hour person is $15 an hour person ends up costing us right at, Brandy, what's that about? Yeah, right about between $50,000 and $60,000. So that's what I'm saying. You start adding all that up, and then the cost of fertilizer and fuel. Fertilizer, I remember back when we did it, we bought about a ton. Now it's quadrupled, if not beyond that, and it's not. Nothing's cheap. The equipment for this was, our packages on equipment was $400,000. The package on this was right at $1 million. And so you're talking about $500,000 per equipment 5 years. So therefore, we have to reach that balance between keeping a quality golf course and keeping it low enough to where the average hacker like I was could play, can play and afford to play and want to come out and play and keep like Broward and these guys here where they can afford to come and play. And that's where we got to try to hit that middle ground. And that's what we're going to work with them on, to try to hit that middle ground. But we got to start somewhere. So.
Sure.
I'm going to quote Mr. Hoover, David Hoover, who mentioned to me when he was working there at the pro shop at the height of its number of rounds, annual rounds, and he quoted me roughly 27,500 to 28,000 rounds. He made mention that they had a group of individuals
gang, some of you call them, whatever, played Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as Sunday. And he said, the majority of those individuals drove past 4 golf courses in Tallahassee to come down here. That's Seminole in the old days, so, Southwood, Capital City, and Heileman. They drove past 4 golf courses all the way down here to play, and they did it because the quality course, and it was economically feasible for them to come and play down here, okay? If the price is not appropriate, no one is going to drive all the way down. Now, I will tell you, I drive 3 times a week from number 9 Covington Circle to Havana, Florida to play. So I know what it is to drive and to play 3 times a week. Once a week, I usually drive to Destin, spend the night, and play a couple golf courses over there as well, okay? But think about it. The bulk of individuals who were coming that are toting that load, that bulk revenue, were driving all the way from Tallahassee to come here and to play. I hope they do it in the future, but I think the factor involved in them coming down and playing will be that it is affordable for them. Thank you very much.
Does anybody else up here have anything else they want to say?
We just have to get the rounds up.
Play twice a week, it costs you $37 a round.
And
That's all I gotta say. If that ain't cheap enough, then you can find something else to do.
Amen.
Excuse me, sir, could you come up to the microphone so everybody at home could hear you? Thank you. All right, Mr. Commissioner Holmes, you got anything else you want to say? You good?
I'm good.
You done?
Nope.
Done? Done? Let's call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. We're going to move on into number 13, which is request board approval of administrative regulation AR 5.02
Yes.
pertaining to Wakulla
Yes,
Sands.
this basically lays out the code of conduct, the course rules, volunteer program, player development card program, and the tournament agreement out of that. So it's basic stuff to golf. So I can explain anything if y'all want to. I've already went over it with you. Second.
There's a couple of things I would like you to include in that motion. There is waiver and indemnity language, and it should be in, like David said, there's really 4 pieces here. There's the general course rules, there is the volunteer program, the player development card program, and then the tournament package. That waiver and indemnity language, which basically says play at your own risk and things like that, which are very standard, needs to drop into all 4 of those. Right now, it is only in the tournament package and the player development card. So if you make your motion, if you could authorize staff to mirror that language and move it into those other 2 places as well for the final product, that would be preferable.
I make a motion to authorize staff to mirror that language
And to approve
and to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, also, I reckon I can do it under my time, but there's also, our point of sale system, we're currently working on, we have Club Profit as our point of sale system, but, the sub-merchant agreement, is being currently worked on with legal, and, I'd like to have the ability as well as the equipment for the merchandise sales is currently being negotiated, and if we were to open up, when we're trying to open up, we need to get that approved as soon as possible, and therefore I'd like to have permission to have you sign that and then have it ratified at the next meeting.
So you need somebody to do a motion?
Yes.
Move approval.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
I thought we were going to do that under county administrator, but we'll skip that.
I have to remember it.
Public hearings, none. Planning and zoning, Freeman, none. Commissioner agenda items, 0. County attorney,
nothing.
none. County
I'm
administrator,
not done talking yet. I want to thank a couple folks. It takes a while to get one of these things up and running. And especially, it's one thing to do it on the private side, and another thing to do it on the public side, which is times 3 harder, because government is its own problem. So, but, I want to thank Shane and his staff. Shane is a true professional, and he took over and he has grown the golf course in, professionally. And he took over and made a lot of good changes that needed to be made. So he's done a great job. He's way overstaffed, but he'll trim that down in a little while. But he's done. We're so fortunate to have him, because that's critical. Also, and he's gonna. And David Beck, he is our club manager in the golf club. He brings a wealth of knowledge of the golf industry in our area, and will be a good great ambassador for our golf course. But also, I want to thank the crews. There's the golf course maintenance crew. There's Homer and Joy and Homer's cousin. Yeah, Antonio, Dennis Whidden. They were the core that for the longest time, we had our hiccup with our budget, and they grew the golf course in, just 4 of them. And Shane spent many a night out there late, so did they, but they did a fantastic job. And like I said, in the private sector, we had 16. That's what kind of job they've done. But they really did a good job with it, and have worked through a lot of adversity, washouts, etc., which are typical in a grow-in. They did a great job. But also, my staff, Summer, Michelle, Kelly, Graves, who else am I missing?
Brandy.
Brandy's already left. Not you, Brandon. But they did a great job of helping pull together all these administrative regulations, pulling together all the agreements.
What about Heather? Let's thank her.
Heather, and
Talking about legal operation.
for making a smooth legal operation. But no joke, they pulled together as a team and brought a lot of stuff together in one short period, and as well as Ricky Dyke and Cody for doing all the site work out there. As you'll see, it's set up for success. We have a new pro shop, have a new halfway house, restrooms, a new parking lot that's more efficient. We have a first-class golf course, and we're looking forward to serving our county and hoping our citizens will enjoy it and have a good time with it. So that's all I've got. Also, other thing is I want to thank my staff, also our staff, the work they did during our last tropical storm that, thank goodness, made a easterly jog. Summer and Michelle, they really did just a great job of communicating well. Summer got out and was out and running around like a crazy woman there for a while, and but did a great job. And they both were at the EOC, as well as Jennifer, as usual, did a fantastic job with the EOC. She has the most comfortable chairs in the world now.
I know, I'm wondering why.
By the way, yeah, and Jessica, we need to get them the chairs. They'll be falling asleep up here. But they did a great job, and all our folks, and thank the good Lord, our citizens were kept safe, and we just got we got a great staff, and Mike King did a great job, and his staff getting what few little trees were down off the road. So we're very fortunate and blessed to have good folks that work with us.
About the debris for Saturday, we talked about.
Oh, yes, and thank you, Commissioner. Also for the public, we will be opening up the landfill as we do after storms, and thank the person, and I forgot who it was that reminded us on the email. I forgot all about it. We're going to be opening up the landfill on Saturday for residential debris, that was debris from the storm disposal. That's no commercial, just residential. So
No construction debris.
No construction debris,
That
no,
fun stuff.
no clearing, none of that.
None of that.
That's right.
We forgot to thank Brandon for being at the EOC operations this week. I really
Yes,
appreciate
and
him.
I can say, Brandon,
He was the whole GIS map, world, everything.
believe it or not, you're right.
Zoning.
And I forget about that. Brandon did, and that part of it is lost, but he created all the flood maps that helps people tell where they are as well as they can zero in on that. So thank you, Brandon, and your team. And they were ready to go do a damage assessment. Thank God they didn't have to, but they had all their I's dotted and T's crossed for that.
And Kenzie for the push on social media. We
Kenzie
just
did
go
a
on and on.
job as usual, yes.
Okay.
And Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth.
Yes. What? Oh, Joe. Yeah.
And Joe, the radio guy.
Yes, we're going to tell you how our system did. Go ahead, Michelle.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joe's unable to join us this evening due to open house at the high school, but he did provide an overview of the radio system performance during Hurricane Debbie. For the duration of operations from roughly 5 p.m. Sunday until 5 p.m. Monday, we were able to utilize some key features and exercise the expandability of the new system. Even with the system being under construction, it provided clear and manageable communication with departments that in prior years did not have the ability to share information with each other in real time. The radio system processed 7,745 calls across the network with a total call time of almost 48 hours across multiple talk groups on the system. With the enhancement in the system, we were able to allow departments such as Fire Rescue, Sheriff's Department, and our Road and Bridge Department to work as a unified task force, which also included outside agencies at various times. The system allowed departments to address road closures due to down trees and traffic light power outages while simultaneously allowing the dispatch center, Fire Rescue, and the Sheriff's Office to continue running routine calls for service to our community. This county is so fortunate to have staff that stepped so far outside of their daily roles to provide support during these events. Staff from our library, the Department of Health, Department of Corrections, Florida National Guard, the Department of Transportation, the Sheriff's Office, Fire Rescue, our amazing dispatch team, our jail team, Road and Bridge, BOCC administrative staff, our commissioners, school board, FDEM, Leon Emergency Management, all work together with public safety first and foremost in their actions. A huge applause for Jennifer Nagy and Lucy Gowdy for the program that they're building in Wakulla. It takes time and training, but you can see their efforts paying off. Even though this was not a direct impact on Wakulla County, we will use this as training and learn from it. Thank you.
Next time I'm going to get Joe to write my.
I was just going to say, my Lord.
Also, Jessica wants us to remind you and the public that our next meeting, which is August
19th.
our final budget workshop is at 3:30. So just don't forget.
You done?
I'm done.
Because I want to talk about how amazing Gulf Triumph is because we have a new radio system that Joe could write that dissertation about. So we got that going on. You sure you're done? No citizens to be heard? Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you have an update for the closure of Spring Creek Highway?
I do not.
I did.
They did get along faster than what they, once they got through a portion of the intersection, it sped up. I would imagine, and I'm guessing here, it would be paid back probably in 2 weeks according to how well they did. That was last week. They had moved on now. They could hit something that stopped, but I would say within 2 weeks it should be back open.
Thank you. The new roundabout, beautifully. I went through the other day and there's 5 vehicles all in it at the same time.
Well, and we're also going to be planting some street trees there to try to create a closure look to where it's not as open, and that'll help slow some folks down because we're getting some complaints that some folks are starting to speed through there and not slowing down, which that happens, but that'll help visually bring that together to where it makes people slow down a little bit, hopefully. And if we can solve the speeding problem in this county, we will have done something now.
My goodness. Commissioner Thomas, you have any other discussion issues?
Ma'am, thank you.
Yes, sir.
When I went to the EOC during the storm thing, everything looked great. And especially Joe with the radio system, the only thing I can say that I would like to see is Joe needs a few more handheld radios to divvy out if he needs to be, when Jennifer, if she sends people somewhere. That was the only thing I think that I could see that he needed. just food for thought. But everything else, they did a wonderful job, wonderful job.
Same thing. You said everything I was already going to say about the EOC, so I'm not going to go back into it. One of the things I did realize, it was packed in there. There was not a seat left. One of the things I can see why we need our new EOC, and thank goodness that we got our funding. Something that we really need to push. When I was talking to Jennifer, we really need to look at funding for all the IT stuff that goes in there. So if that's something that we can legislatively try to really start working on. We've got most of the money to build the EOC building, but it didn't cover, from what I was looking at and reading, it didn't cover all
Had to bring in old equipment.
the old, old equipment. So, if we can really push that to, our lobbyists and really fight for that, which, man, we have been so blessed with the amount of funding that we have gotten with the EOC building and Triumph and fire trucks and everything. So we have gotten a lot. I just know that we're probably looking at quite a bit of money, bringing in some new equipment, and, a new EOC building is going to be where we'll need it, because there was no room to move in there.
It was because of those chairs.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because Commissioner Thomas and I talked about next year's cycle, and if the marbles or dominoes fall right, we'll be in a really good position. So that's something that we need to add to Michelle, to our thing. And well, first we got to find out how much we need. So, yeah.
Really need to start working on that. I mean, we've been blessed a lot of times. I mean, but it's eventually going to come. Don't wish it on nobody, but I definitely don't.
But you're right, Miss Smith. The Golf Triumph funding us for this radio system, it's saving lives, and it's saving lives in our county.
No, that is not a joke. I was going to get on to you, but I'm not now. That is not a joke.
A lot of years.
A lot of years.
A lot of years.
And now somebody else is doing it, I heard. Franklin. You finished, sir? Commissioner House, is this more exciting than going out there and pressing that button at that spray field? It is? All right. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, I'm done.
You done? Do you want a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.